Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is BS Legend of Zelda, and I'm the runner. I'm xIceblue, and with me in the booth today is JSR. JSR, say hi.
Hi.
JSR dislikes the book from Zelda 1. Just want to let everybody know that.
Okay, hold on. If that's how you're going to bring me in, sir. Sir, you're not even getting the book in this amazing run, by the way, folks. Welcome, everybody. Thank you for tuning in. It's been a great marathon so far. We're excited to show this game off. This game hasn't really had a lot of features in speedrunning marathons yet.
Yeah, it's not really a well-known game. It was pretty much it was brought up through only in Japan, and it was done via like different weeks. You have some lore behind that, JSR, don't you?
Yeah, we'll go over it a little bit more once we get this run started. This is not your granddad's Zelda 1. For those of you out there who are familiar with the vanilla original NES classic speedrun, it's a little different here. And we'll go definitely into more details as the run starts, but I will let Ice get us started, and then we'll begin letting you know all the ins and outs of this really cool speedrun. So if you've never seen this before, you're in for a treat. Ice, the floor is yours, sir.
All right. Count us down from 3. 3, 2... Oh, hold on. Probably be good if I was on the title screen to start us. All right. 3, 2, 1, go.
So the first thing you're going to notice is I just totally stepped on you, Ice. I'm sorry.
No, you're good. No, go ahead.
Yes, this is a 16-bit remake of the NES's Legend of Zelda. If you're familiar with Super Mario All-Stars, it's kind of the same treatment here. But unlike All-Stars, the engine is completely different.
So you may recognize the overworld a bit. It's a much smaller version of the original Zelda overworld. But a lot of the stuff is actually still in the same spot. There's a couple things that they changed. We're just farming some bombs there, so we can have them for Dungeon 1. Makes things a lot quicker.
So if you're familiar with NES Legend of Zelda, you're definitely familiar with how a lot of the runners will count. There's counting in this game, but it's not like in the original game. There is a global counter. The count's a little different. They drop at a much higher rate in this game. I'll explain why in a bit. But there is no consecutive counter to our knowledge. In fact, there's a lot of stuff that you can do in the NES version that you cannot do in this game, including all of the known glitches, which to our knowledge do not work in this game. No block clips, no screen scrolls, no root quarter, none of that.
So this is actually a glitchless run. Since we don't know any glitches, we can't actually incorporate these glitches into this run.
So we're looking for you. That's right, you. We need some glitch hunters out there. And this is actually a really beginner-friendly run. The drop rate is high. We get a lot of opportunities for safeties that just fall in our lap that you'll see Ice skip, including a few of the heart containers. He won't be getting any of the rings. I believe you get a potion still, correct? Or am I mistaken?
Yeah, we pick up a potion right before Dungeon 5, because the shop salesman's literally right outside Dungeon 5.
And then you'll also be seeing him take a few intentional deaths, which is similar to the up A mechanics that you see in the NES version. As he heads into this diamond staircase, he's going to have to walk around, he's going to enter and pick up the first item of the game. This game is actually pretty neat. The version you're seeing Ice play today is a modified ROM, that was made so that the game could be beaten in a single segment. The original game, BS Zelda no Densetsu, which by the way, the BS stands for Broadcast Satellite, Broadcast to Teleview to be more specific, was released in Japan in 1995 in 4 different segments that were an hour long practically. They're like 55 minutes long, and you had to beat the first 2 dungeons in week 1, the 3rd and 4th dungeon in week 2, so on and so forth. And the last day of the game, you had to wait for level 9 to open. It was on a global timer. And the whole time this game was playing, there was a soundtrack being played in the background with CD quality audio, voice acting, and a narrator. all kinds of cool stuff that a lot of it's been lost, and the only way we even know about it is that people in Japan recorded their gameplay on VHS tapes. It's really neat. And you'll see in this, it did incorporate some of the stuff into the game with infinite sword beams, infinite bombs, and stuff like that. As Ice takes down our first boss, he picks up the heart container, and Ice, that was a very nice level 1, sir.
So that's one of the heart containers. Unless you can find a way to kind of get behind the spawn, you cannot avoid that heart container pickup. There's a couple of heart containers that are like that. Dungeon 2, we can skip the heart container. Dungeon 3, we can skip. I can't remember exactly everything that we can skip. But the way that, so to reiterate on what JSR was saying about the game locking you out after like week 1, week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4. So the way that the game blocked you, so you need the blue candle to make your way to Dungeon 3. They locked the candle purchase behind the second Triforce, and I'm still getting an alert. Okay. Sorry about the alerts. I thought I removed them all. Yeah, besides that distraction. So the game locks you out of being able to purchase, and the way that they set it up, you couldn't purchase the candle until the start of week 2, and you had to have Triforce 2. So they locked you out of a purchase.
Yeah, a lot of little things like that basically make the original version, which has been mostly found. There's been a lot of work in the Satellaview community over the last 15 years or so. It's been really neat to see. Nice pickup on Triforce 2. Ice on a pretty good pace right now. A lot of the work that they've done, they've actually been able to restore the game very close to its original form, but from a speedrunning perspective, it would end up becoming a chore and would end up with a lot of speedruns just waiting around for level 9 to open up. So the speedrunning community kind of all just came together and said, this is the version that we want to run. And honestly, I like it better. It's a lot more routable. It's a lot more free. It plays a lot more like the NES version, which is what people like anyway. It's a lot better speedrun than what it would be if they'd used the original version.
So if you're familiar with the Link to the Past Ancient Stone Tablets, and the speedrun of that, when the players get to the end of the run, they literally sit around for almost 15-20 minutes waiting for the Ganon to open up.
By the way, Ice using the new mechanic in this version of the game, utilizing the Super NES's L and R buttons to switch items, which is something we see in Randomizer, but Nintendo thought of it first.
So with that clock drop, I know where my globals are as far as bomb droppers.
Yeah, I believe it's on 1, 7, and 8, and the clock is 3, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes. So we're not going to get a bomb from these Vires, but we'll bomb the second set of Vires so I can get a bomb.
Yeah, it's kind of a neat thing. This is an official NES or Super NES version. This was all made by Nintendo, and originally was a downloaded game only via satellite on the Satellaview add-on for the Super Famicom, and it's kind of the initial version of DLC. It's kind of neat, and really tells the tale of how awesome the community is that we were able to find enough information to recreate this game for us. And now here we are, in 2020, speedrunning this on the internet. I think it's just so cool. It's like it came full circle. Now, this death that Ice takes is intentional here. Why is that, Ice?
So the walking animation in this game is very slow. And taking a death there brings us back about 5 rooms, I want to say. So it's just a lot quicker to just take a death there. That's why I was taking a bunch of hits from the Dark Nuts. But it saves roughly like 30 or so seconds to do that.
So he does need some rupees. He's going to be making a few purchases soon, including a potion and some keys. The keys will come into play in level 6 later on, and we'll get to that when we get there.
We're going to take
a couple other
chance to see if we can bomb these here, because I do want to get a bomb drop. And we get it.
Nice. So a few other mechanic differences in this game. A lot of the static drops in the NES version you couldn't pick up with your sword or your boomerang. In this game, the game actually intends for you to pick them up with the boomerang. Hitboxes and the movement system in this game is very different as well. You'll see a lot of the enemies don't have as many iframes. And give us a second. This is a little bit of a scary spot. He does nicely done, Ice. Good job.
Had to play it safe. Don't want to die to the blue gorillas.
And obviously this hack also has an English translation for these old men as well. Very few differences though between the original version and this. It's mostly just the translation and the removal of the global clock. But other than that, it's the exact same game, exact same enemies and layout and everything like that.
Ideally, we want to come into this next room with beams, because there's 4 keys we have to kill. But you know, we were not given a generous pattern for the blue gorillas.
So a question in chat, how many playable characters were there? Well, part of this hack, actually, you see Ice is playing as Princess Zelda. In the original version, you couldn't play as Zelda or Link. You had to play as what they called was BS Girl and BS Boy, which were avatar characters, which are the same characters you see, slightly modified, of course, in the randomizer. Nice kill for Ice. He's going to pick up this heart for safety.
I typically skip that heart container just to save time, but I'm picking it up for safety since patterns don't seem to be playing in my favor.
This does have a lot of RNG, not so much with the drops. The drop rate in this game is tremendously more high than in the NES version. So Ice now has the option, if he heads left from the screen to pick up the white sword, he's going to skip it, mostly just because it's not nearly as useful in this game as it is in the NES version. You'll see him pick up a sword upgrade later on, though.
So I'm not going to kill... I'm on a bomb drop right now, so we're going to avoid killing pretty much all these enemies until I get to this screen here. After I saw that clock, I knew I was on the 3 count, so I got my globals to the number that I needed it to get to. We pick up that 100 secret because we're going to make a few purchases after Dungeon 4. Dungeon 4 is going to net us the ocarina, which it's not the recorder like it is in Zelda 1. It's actually an ocarina. And that's going to get us the ability to fast travel back to 1 and 2. I say 1 and 2 because we only use the recorder to go back to 1 and 2.
Yeah, the recorder is a lot different in this game than it is in the NES game. In the NES game, whatever direction Link is facing when he blows the recorder determines where the recorder whirlwind is going to take you. But in this game, if you blow the recorder, whatever direction you're facing as it picks you up. So you can face any direction you want, blow the recorder, and then just let the whirlwind pick you up. As long as you're facing the right direction, you'll head where you want to go.
Make it safety, because I do want to have some health for this boss. With this is probably one of the scariest rooms in the entire run, in my opinion. These likes do an incredible amount of damage. Likes do 2 hearts of damage, whereas in the original, you know, they only do 1 heart of damage. So they're very dangerous at this point of the game. Well, I want to avoid them. There is a bomb upgrade in the left wall right there, but we don't pick that one up. We pick a different bomb upgrade up in Dungeon 5.
Sir, this was the flute in A Link to the Past. I beg to differ.
This one doesn't summon a duck, unfortunately.
Man, we need to unleash the duck in BS Zelda. Picks up the flute. He's heading to the boss. And you'll notice there's one boss curiously missing from this version that was in the NES version.
What boss might that be?
That would be the dragon of amazing awesomeness in level 4 that we know as Gleeok, which is one of the biggest roadblocks in level 4. But in BS Zelda, there are no Gleeoks, which is kind of a shame. I'd love to see a 16-bit Gleeok, but instead we get what, Ice?
We get a Dig Dogger that looks very weird.
Yeah, Dig Dogger, he's been a little lazy in his retirement. He's gained a few pounds. But Ice is gonna give him a diet real quick and then place a few bombs. The glitch that lets us kill only one eye in the NES version does not work, unfortunately, in this version. So he does have to kill all of them, and he does. Very nicely done.
I was avoiding because they do two hearts of damage, and health is going to be very scarce.
So now we unlock a new area of the map. This is going to be the northeastern part, but before he goes, he's going to be making a few purchases.
We're just making a purchase for the bait here.
Bait?
Bait? Why you do this, bait?
It's just easier to get it now. It's right next to 4, and then he's going to use a recorder, and that's going to take him back, I believe, to level 2.
Yep.
Which is going to put him right next to where he needs to go. He's going to go up the mountain, which is a little different in this area. But how do you go up the mountain? You ride across the river on a raft. It makes perfect sense, and now he's on a mountain.
Yes, we went up the mountain. So I bombed that wall there because we're going to get a bunch of bombs in 5. And I don't want to get the rubies just yet. I'm going to get them on the way to the shop.
He is going to buy this extremely generously cheap bottle of blue Kool-Aid. It's a questionable drink, but it does wonders.
It's definitely a thirst quencher. It definitely quenches the thirst. Oh, this is not a good pattern here. Come on.
So level 5 is another level that you're going to see Ice attempt to set up an intentional death abuse, if I'm not mistaken. And this is going to allow him to get back to the beginning of the dungeon in the same way you saw earlier, just to save a lot of time.
This intentional death saves probably over a minute. Because if you don't take the intentional death here, you would have to fight an entire room of Gyptos in a diamond staircase. And Gyptos take 7 hits, and we don't have the bomb capacity for that, nor do we have the sword for that either. So we take an intentional death to go back to the front of the dungeon.
Ain't nobody got time for that, Ice.
Nobody. Time for that.
Your eyes do not deceive you. We have Wizrobes and Dark Nuts in the same dungeon. Now, unfortunately, Ice does not have the ladder yet, so he cannot pick up that key yet. But we do have a hungry man. He's not a gorilla in this game. He is an actual Hylian, and Ice feeds him a chunk of meat, and he moves on. So the bait moves to level 5, or the bait block moves to level 5.
We don't even know if that bait was cooked. Just feed it, this person, in a dungeon.
It's probably good.
But at this point, I don't care where my bombs are. We're about to buy a bomb upgrade, so my bomb count does not matter.
And that is on the other side of this wall. I believe you need 1 bomb to get in, correct?
Yep. I will be taking a hit from this Gypto, just to ensure that I have suitable health to take this death abuse after the... hit me. After the Dodongos.
And as you can see, obviously, skipping that entire fight and having to go back through the blue Dark Nuts and everything, it saves a tremendous amount of time. And, I mean, there's a good chance that Ice would be in a position where he'd die anyways. So, why not, you know? Let's just move on, pick up the beautiful pig fence, or ladder, and he's going to take a few hits from these keys here to set him up for this death abuse, picks up his all-important ladder, and then cooks himself to death.
I am so sorry for the follower alerts. I disabled them on what I thought was everything, but apparently I did not. But appreciate the follows, everybody. That is, if you've played the new Link's Awakening game from the Nintendo Switch, that is Mambo. But yes.
Concern Mambo.
Concern Mambo. Indeed.
So now he's gonna go left here. He's got to go down one of the most dangerous stretches in the game. He does have a potion, and it's not terribly tough. This game is a little easier than the NES game. Again, remember that this game was designed for small chunks of play, so they didn't want to make it extremely hard, but it is still dangerous. Ice could very easily take a death here. He gets through that Wizrobe room very nicely. He's going to kill these keys for this bomb drop, and He's almost to the end of 5, where we get to move on to level 6 soon and see the hardest dungeon in the game, Kappa.
I used more bombs than I wanted to use there.
To be fair, level 6 is designed to be tough, but it has some fun rooms that are unique to that level.
JSR, do you remember what boss happens to be for 5?
Oh dear. I believe it's Manhandla?
No, it is not a Manhandla. It is our
I don't
buddy.
remember. It's been
the
so
boss.
long.
So the boss from Dungeon 5. If anybody has played the original Zelda and you've made it to level 9, you will recognize the boss.
Oh dear, yes. The wonderful super swole Patra that we have here. Patra, unlike Dig Dogger, Patra's been working out. Patra has been on, he doesn't take the off season off. He's had 30 years. He's been, or she, I should say, has been putting in the reps, and she's had it up to here. She's gonna give Ice a really good fight. You'll see if you were familiar with the NES version. She's buff in this version.
This is actually the easiest Patra you'll ever fight. You just stand about a half a block away, and everybody's now spamming my follower notification. If you stand about a half a tile away, you can actually stab these orbitals without taking damage. So it's pretty much the easiest Patra, and also the ugliest Patra you'll ever see.
Sir, she's been working hard. We're not here to Patra shame. No, in all seriousness, it is kind of a cool testament to the Super Nintendo and the graphics. They actually made that larger and more detailed. And there we go. There goes Patra.
I'm gonna say something that's just gonna get everybody to unfollow me. She's not here to patronize this run, okay?
Oh dear. Oh, at least that's the buzz going around the camp. All right, so into this cave, he's going to pick up some more monies, concern wealth, and headed to level 6. Level 6 is normally a very difficult dungeon. It's a lot of backtracking. It's a lot of annoying things, but xIceblue set up his route very specifically to go to this shop after level 5. Why is that, Ice?
Actually, you were the one that came up with this.
I was, but that's okay. I'm gonna let you explain it.
So we were trying to figure out a way to skip Dungeon 6, because Dungeon 6's item is the wand. We don't need the wands, obviously, because after Dungeon 6 we pick up the Master Sword. So we were trying to think of a way to route out having to do Dungeon 6, because with having to do Dungeon 6, that would involve us having to go north in the dungeon, bomb a couple of walls, grab 2 keys, and then go back south. All the while avoiding whiz robes, Pole's voices, everything. So we wanted to find a way to do that. So we've routed in 100 secret early. I actually routed in the 100 secret early to get us the ability to purchase 2 keys. Because once we figured out, after clearing Dungeon 5, you'll notice that the shop prices have changed. Grabbing the 5th Triforce, and it doesn't matter which 5th Triforce you grab, as long as it's 5 Triforces. It actually gives you the ability to purchase any item in shops for half price. So the candle is down to 30, arrows are down to 50.
So real quick, to change the subject just for a second, you'll see a tile on the floor here and a unique dungeon entrance here for the BS version of this game. I think you're supposed to stand on that tile and then blow the recorder. It makes the entrance come out of the water.
I think that's what they were implying.
The heart container is actually a time-based object in the original game. It has to be a certain time.
I think it shows up after like Dungeon 2 or something.
In this version, yeah, it's a trigger that shows up after you complete a certain part. So you see he has just skipped a lot of the dungeon because he had 2 keys already. He doesn't have to, go through this dungeon picking up the keys. He can just go straight to this staircase, picks up that key from the like bikes, and level 6 is already almost done. So we're going to see another boss here that's been working out. I mean, the power of the Super Famicom compels our friend Goma Ice was kind of hoping for maybe some bombs there, and there's a Goma.
No.
There goes a Goma.
If I'm below 6 bombs, I would farm the Gyptos for bombs, but since I'm above 6, I don't need to farm them. So we're getting a special animated cutscene, not animated, but a special cutscene here. We just acquired a boomerang, but it's not an ordinary boomerang. This boomerang is called the Mighty Boomerang. It takes up the entire screen. Like, it travels the entire screen, and it also pierces. Unfortunately, it's useless. We use it for one thing, and that's grabbing a bomb pack on the way to 8.
So we now expect you to kill something with the boomerang. So
all right, fine.
Right?
There you go. I killed the Lionel for you with the boomerang.
The boomerang is much more powerful in this game than it is in the original NES game. It's pretty neat. And as you see, only 5 hearts, but it's okay. Ice has also been working out and picks up the Master Sword. That is not the magical sword. Makes you wonder. I might be the only person that thinks this in the Zelda 1 community, but I think it's actually a Master Sword. I think they just mistranslated to magical sword, but you know, I'm probably gonna get crucified for that one.
Maybe. Well, all right. Let's think about it this way. The Master Sword could shoot beams, right?
Mm-hmm.
Wouldn't that make it kind of magical?
Oh dear, I'm already getting Dan's games. in this version, it is the Master Sword. I swear, it just said it.
So coming up, we have finally a deviation on the route. We're not just playing this game casually. I promise. We're not going to Dungeon 7 first. We're actually going to go to Dungeon 8. Dungeon 8 actually it's a lot faster to do Dungeon 8 first before doing Dungeon 7. And by completing Dungeon 8, we get infinite bombs. We also want to pick up this item right here that's in the first room of level 8. And I'll have JSR explain how we know that the silver arrows are in Dungeon 8 as opposed to being...
This game is sneaky, man. It tells you late in the dungeon that the enemies in a room will take you to the silver arrows, or something like that. You'll see it shortly. He's going to come across that hint. And the game intends you to purposely get wall mastered in order to find the silver arrows. And it's very obscure. I can't imagine if that's the hint they used in the original Japanese version, because that's so trolly. But
I think I was watching you play it, and like you stared at the screen for like 20 minutes, like when you were doing casual.
Yeah. To answer a couple questions in chat, the requirements for the Master Sword are just to beat the first 6 Triforces. I don't even know if the order necessarily matters.
You just have to have 6 Triforces collected.
And then the other question in chat, this is not a 1-to-1 remake. All the dungeons are unique to this version, and the overworld has been compressed. A lot of the screens have been taken out, and a little bit of the layout is different too, but it's very familiar.
So to cut you off, this is the hint here. Those next door can show you to the arrow. That's a very vague hint, like if you don't actually think about it. But then you see wall masters, and getting grabbed by a wall master obviously brings you to, the front side of the dungeon.
So yeah, the game absolutely intended you to get wall mastered to find those. And this room, believe it or not, Ice just nailed it, is one of the scariest parts of the entire run, because if he runs out of bombs there, he has to ditch and start the dungeon all over. And now he reaches the boss rush. Harder versions of all the bosses. Say hi to Super Aqua Menace.
We get to skip Super Manhandla.
What? Manhandla? Everyone loves Manhandla. And then have a double
said
Goma
no
fight.
Said no Z1 runner ever.
Yeah, I know, right? Double Goma fight. These are blue Gomas. They're a little stronger than their red counterparts. And as soon as Ice finishes one off, you can pick up this heart container for safety. He's going to grab the Triforce. It's a pretty good pace, Ice.
If you actually take a look at the top, you'll see that the bomb logo changed into an infinite number. So now we have infinite bombs. I can lay a million bombs and never run out.
To answer the question, no, we cannot smoke the Dodongos in this game. In fact, none of the known glitches or exploits in The Legend of Zelda that, to our knowledge, work in this game. The movement engine is completely different in this game, and nobody's been able to discover as of now how to actually do any of those block clips, screen scrolls, and smoking a Dodongo is not technically a glitch, but it is something that you cannot do in this game.
So shoutouts to any of the glitch hunters. If you want to assist in finding some of these glitches, please do. We are definitely looking to have glitches added to this game.
And this is a really fun speedrun if you're interested in The Legend of Zelda, the original NES version, but it's a little too archaic for you, or you're looking for an easier way to get your feet wet in the game, a glitchless run. This is a really fun run. It's really easy to learn. Definitely a cool alternative to the original NES version. So, interesting, Ice. We're almost to the final part of the game.
I'm not liking my health right now.
Yeah, this is a scary part. These Wizrobes are very dangerous, and that fairy is very enticing. Nice.
Wasn't even worried.
So you will notice in a few moments one major difference in this game compared to the NES version, and that is level 9. We'll get to that in a short moment. As soon as he takes care of this manhandle, a nice bomb, takes this staircase. So, Ice, what is the biggest thing you need to worry about headed to level 9?
The overworld.
Well, I mean, obviously you don't want to take too many hits before dying, right?
Absolutely. So fun fact, I run both Zelda 1 and this game. I actually achieved a sub 30 in this version of the game before I actually achieved the sub 30 in Zelda 1.
That is his 8th and final Triforce piece, and for the folks on time will be when he gets to the kidnapped. But first we have to get through level 9.
No, actually time is when you walk out of the cave after rescuing the kidnapped.
Oh, you're right. I'm sorry, you're right. I apologize. So suddenly it's a lightning storm outside, and every enemy in the overworld is a darknet. What is going on?
So with the clear of the final dungeon, I don't know why I grabbed that 5 rupee. With the clear of the final dungeon, Ganon has opened up. It also unlocks the light sword, which gives you infinite sword beams. So I can have 1 heart and I will fire a sword beam. You may wonder why we're going to the wood sword cave. Well,
oh no!
The old man got slaughtered. By who, you ask?
Or maybe the whole time it was Ganon. Sour, please. Here we go. Level 9. Get ready. This is a gauntlet.
This is a tough dungeon. And alright, we made it through this dungeon. This Ganon is different. This Ganon is actually weak to sword beams.
So he sets up a stun lock with the sword beams, and as soon as he gets... Oh wait, no, there is no stun lock in this version, even with the sword beams. I'm sorry.
Correct.
He's using the sword beams in order to find him, so he doesn't have to get too close to him. One silver arrow takes care of the pig, and down goes Ganon.
I'm upset that we didn't get to drink the blue Kool-Aid, so I'm going to take some damage here just so I can drink the blue Kool-Aid.
He saves the prince, and out Ice walks. Very nice marathon time, sir.
Alright, we're going to drink the Kool-Aid and time.
You are the hero of Hyrule. Peace may now finally return to this land. Nice, well, really good run, sir. Well done.
Yeah, that run went a lot better than I expected it to go.
A lot of spots in the run where you have to be very careful with health and with bombs, and you handled it very well.
Appreciate it, thank you. Yeah, it's a very fun run. We put a little time into figuring this route out. But yeah, if anybody would like to glitch hunt in this game, be my guest. We would love to have this game blown wide open, and I would love to be able to to go into a different, set of ordered dungeons than, almost vanilla.
There is a Discord for this game, but you're welcome to visit us in the Zelda 1 Discord as well for more information on this speedrun. It is a fun run. We welcome all new runners. It's a really easy run to learn, and maybe you will be the one that gets the sub 30 next. Only one person ever got a sub 30 in this game. Ice, who is it?
Believe it's JSR.
Negative, sir. Negative. Someday percent.
Someday percent.
But yeah, coming up next, we have Zelda 2 100% all keys with Enchantress of Numbers. Ice, thank you for having me. I'm gonna let you take it out. Thanks very much, everybody. Follow xIceblue.
Yeah, thanks, RGL, for letting me show this game off. Really appreciate it. It's a very fun run, at least in my opinion. I'll let you be the person to decide that. But yeah, thanks for the opportunity to showcase this. I appreciate it.